Viewers of OSBC Television, it is another time for your Monday morning tonic. We call it AM Cafe. Yes, AM Cafe, coming your way from the studio of the television arm of the Osun State Broadcasting Corporation. We are transmitting from our studios here in Ile-Awiye, Oke-Bale, Osogbo. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the first transmission of the program for the new week, Monday, the 12th day in the month of August 2024. Yes, the weather is cool. Yes, we appreciate the Almighty God for giving us cold weather, but we continue to pray to the Almighty God to send down the rain. Yes, we need the rain at this material point, at least for our farmers to grow more foods and to be able, to beat the hunger, the passive hunger, which is currently ravaging the country. My name is Adeyemi Abodere. My guest is already seated in the studio. Together for the next 30 minutes or thereabout, we shall be looking at how to control fake product. You will agree with me that Nigeria has literally become heaven, for fake product. Everything that can be fake is faked in Nigeria. And if it is possible to fake human being, Nigerians, I believe Nigerians will attempt to fake human beings. So we are going to look at how to control fake product in the country and the right of consumer as far as this is concerned. I have the zonal coordinator Southwest of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission already seated with me in the studio. I'm talking of Mrs. Janet Odo. Mrs. Odo, you are welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much for having me this morning.
Yes, let's start from the beginning. People at home who want to know the roles and responsibility of FCCPC. Initially, I was asking you before we come on here that I knew of Consumer Protection Commission. Is it different from the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission? Let's start on that.
Good morning, viewers at home. Thank you all for listening to us this morning. The Consumer Protection Council then, which was enacted by Act of 2024, was basically about consumer protection. And as at that time, the Act limits us to some extent because you can't go beyond what the law says you should do. So what we are basically then doing was creating awareness among consumers, because it was believed that if consumers know their rights and they are sat on it, they should be able to demand for quality service. However, by 2018, the then President Muhammadu Buhari, elevated the commission, that's from council to commission now, and then he gave us an additional function, which is the competition aspect of it. So from then on, the organization is now being known as the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. Hitherto Nigeria has no competition law. It could be you could get maybe some traces or fragments of it in individual organizations, that is the individual arms of the government that have just maybe a little part of it, but not really the holistic part of competition. But this time around, coming out with it, I think it was not vested on the consumer protection, because by and large, when you look at it, the whole essence of competition, who is at the receiving end is still the consumer, because when the market is fair, because this competition we're talking about is about ensuring fairness in the marketplaces, that is players in the marketplaces play fairly. You come, sell your own, use your innovation, use your ideas, use anything that you can, but then make sure it is fair, devoid of any dubious or when we say anti-competition practices, like you taking advantage of either your position as a dominant player, undue advantage of the market, either as a dominant player or as a more influential or powerful actor in the marketplace. Then you now feel you use the advantage to subdue the smaller ones. In this case, that's where the act now will hold you. So it is now believed, irrespective of the angle you are coming in, play fairly according to the rules of the game, and then let the other man too breathe with his little aspect, so that if he has the innovation, if he has the how do I call it, the ability to move in that space, he should be able to try. At the end of the day, the market will determine who is the best actor, and that is based on the consumer choice. Of course, if consumers get quality goods at competitive, do I say reasonable prices, or you know where they will go, you know. So that is the whole essence, is to ensure that the market is fair and efficient, and to ensure that consumers get best quality, safer goods at reasonable price.
That is the addition of competition to
it. So now, by and large, when you look at it, it still all boils down to the consumer protection. Because consumer protection, what is it all about? Ensuring that there is quality product, ensuring that the consumer is safe.
We are coming to that,
okay.
Madam. Let's look at the, the area, the product which your agency, your commission has, responsibility over. We understand there is NAFDAC, National Agency for Food Administration and Control, oversees some product. Is there no interloping
No.
in the responsibility of the two agencies?
No. Now, let's look at it. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission does not regulate products.
Okay.
We don't regulate products. And you are talking about some goods. No, we are everywhere. Everywhere that consumer is concerned. That is where you use your money to buy product or service or whatever it is, and then you are shortchanged, or any business, so long as you are operating within the shores of Nigeria, or you are bringing in your goods, whether from abroad, but then it's landing in this very shore, the competition law binds you. The consumer protection law of the land binds you. Now, when you talk about agencies like NAFDAC, SOM, because that's where we always have
a
that
standard organization of Nigeria.
People will like, are you not overlapping each functions?
Yes.
The NAFDAC sets standards for food, drug, chemicals, right? Okay. Now, SOM sets standards for all products and services as far as this country is concerned. Now, what we do, the law gives us this express, ample opportunity, give us the permission, enter into MOU with these organizations. When we do that, because by the time you see us in the space of pharmaceutical whatever, we might not have the expertise. Who do we call? We call NAFDAC. They set the standard. Where we are concerned now is, are you following the rule? Are you playing by the game? When we now come into your shop, first of all, what we ask you is your NAFDAC number. We check your goods. Do they have the NAFDAC number? Do they have the requisite international or best practice labeling and whatever information that a consumer is making good choices? Now, if you do that, mind you, who said those standards? It's NAFDAC. Where food and drugs, chemicals are concerned, NAFDAC said the number. And a lot of quality product, when we come in, we check out for that quality symbol. Do your goods have it? If they do have it, okay, is it in conformity with what they ask you to do, or are you playing by it? If it is, now where we have an issue now is, if you claim your goods have all these things, and then the consumer and then at the end of the day, he or she discover that they fall short of that thing you stated. Yes. We now say, consumer, come to us. But in the first place, we ask you to go to the sector regulators, see how they can, ameliorate. But if at the end of the day, the consumer is not satisfied, push it to us. So in this case, we now look at it holistically. Where is the problem coming in from? So basically, you can now say that there's no overlapping. We are more or less like on the demand side. You understand? We are on the demand side. What is happening on the demand side? Yes, the supply side has been beefed up by this organization, these other agencies. They've given you the standard. Now, on the demand side, what is happening? They could have an element of consumer protection in their own act too, on behalf of that consumer. So where the consumer suffers, grievous injury, or maybe a kind of safety issues, safety mishap, sort of, possibly health-wise or what, at times it could even result to death. Yes. You bring your complaint.
At what point can a consumer bring complaint?
At any point, but we, first of all, because we are not here to kill business, we encourage businesses. They have to try too. So, first of all, check out it could be as a result of just something minor that they could fix. And we always have these 3 R's that are very, very, very hard. I call it very cogent to us. We call it the right to refund, replace, or repair. You know, so when you're having issues with products and then you take it there first, yes, they could replace it for you where it is eminent that it needs to be replaced. They could repair it if it is something that could be repaired, or they could refund you your money. So within these parameters, first of all, you go and try. But where they now tell you, no, you have bought, there is no refund, you have to escalate. And I think we have this thing within our local environment that most traders themselves don't even know how to step in between their distributor and the consumer. Most often when the consumer buys and then he comes back, they too, they are helpless. They will tell the consumer, that is how I bought it. So what do you want me to do? Am I the manufacturer? No, sir. You are the middleman between the manufacturer and this consumer. So you have the responsibility of taking that complaint back to wherever you got that product from, and then make sure the consumer complaint is attended to.
Mrs. Odo, in a situation where that product is consumable, the consumer has swallowed, has put such a product, maybe drinks, maybe drug, maybe another thing in the mouth, and there's every possibility that it will likely affect the health of the consumer.
Yes.
What do we do next?
Now, when you have health challenges like that, you go to the hospital, right? When you get there, the doctors carry out their tests and whatever to confirm that yes, this thing you've taken, this is the result of it. When we need that most often, because when you are against somebody, you really need that ample evidence to show that it is that product or services that you enjoy that is causing you this. Now, in some instances, maybe you might have taken it, but not for your sake. We advise consumers to come and complain, because that very particular product you took, if it is a food, of course it could be either packaged food or whatever, they will have their batch numbers attached to it. So when we get such complaint, what we now do is we go around to see these batches. Could there be a problem with it? So if from the preliminary investigations we carried out, we discovered that yes, there is some, you cannot really conclusively say the batch are safe, then we now take holistic industrial, and that is the company's inspection through our quality and assurance department. We have that. So there we go in to check whether the processes by which these goods were being produced is tampered with, or maybe it does not correspond with the stated standard that they are supposed to use. You know, for every food production, they have their standard.
Yes.
So now that's the safety, food safety rules and regulations. So where we now, so by the time we now check, it's not because of you now, because at least it has happened to you. That is where you cannot have the medical whatever to prove that yes, it is a consumption of this. We advise you to still complain for the sake of other consumers.
Awesome.
And for the sake of tomorrow. Because if you keep quiet, the same product is still in the market, causing harm. If you keep quiet, the same process is being used to still produce more. And then we don't know who else will fall victim. You could still be the same victim tomorrow if you never can tell. So it will do you well to tell, report the case, so that we go through, check to see if there is a problem with the processes. And now, like I told you, when it comes to this kind of aspect of talks, the NAFDAC will be called in. You understand?
Yes.
Because it is their own, that's the essence of the whole MOU. So that we all understand how we operate within the same space.
So in this wise, it is NAFDAC in a case where there is a suspicion of fake products in the shop, in the market. It is a NAFDAC that will come.
Giving you the standard of what to do. They could come in maybe in form of to see whether there is compliance with their rules. That's, I don't know, that's their own aspect of the law. Such, or maybe based on consumer complaint of rice these days, we just cannot tell. Complaint might just come in from, the drinks they are selling, do you people notice what is happening? Then we carry out random sampling. That's without even, Then by the time we now see that, okay, yes, there is some elements of truth to what these people are saying, Could it be as a breach of NAFDAC rules and regulation, or is it that the control is not tight? That's another room for or basis for investigation now for the commission. So by the time, from whatever angle we are able to come out, that will now help us to relate with the sector regulator.
Well, if you are just joining us on the program, this program is still AM Cafe, and my guest is still Mrs. Janet Odo, Zonal Coordinator for the Southwest Zone of Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. Your office is based in Osun.
Yes,
Yes. Before the end of the program, you will give your phone number and the address of your office for viewers at home at least to avail themselves of the opportunity of visiting your office, if not for complaint, at least to say hi to people in your office. Now, let's look at the influx of fake products in Nigeria today. There's hardly no product that is not fake in the country today.
Okay.
Yes. How do you determine and what are the steps taken in identify this product? For instance, these common drinks, Coca-Cola now, there are so many fake products of that brand in the market. Many of the drinks now, here and there,
I'm not here to do I say to advocate for Coca-Cola, but I know when you say fake of Coca-Cola in the market, no. I want to say maybe other brands. Other brands.
Let's look at other brands. Let's forget about Coca-Cola.
Other brands are welcome in, provided they meet the regulations. That is what we are conversing for. Let the market be open so that players can come in from varied angles. Come in. But then, are you playing by the rules? That's the issue. Now, where it becomes an issue is when Coca-Cola using its force, is now subduing these other people. My agency have an issue with Coca-Cola as it stands now. And it's not that we are saying it's fake, but what we are saying is they gave out information that is misleading to consumers. Misleading in the sense that they said it is low sugar. And then the low sugar they are quoting, how do I put it? They did not really make it, really obvious for consumers to know that this thing you call low sugar contain another brand of sugar, but not sugar.
Not sugar.
So that is the misleading information that my organization is saying no. If you say it is salt, quote the salt. Don't tell us it is salt when at the end of the day it's just something that tastes like salt, but it's not salt. Do you understand now? So we don't say it's fake, but we only say they gave out misleading information.
That is deceiving.
That's deception.
Deception.
Misrepresentation.
Yes.
Yeah. So in that case, it's part of the anti-competition practice. Because they are giving consumers what they think it is, but it is not. So it's a different ball game altogether. Now, when you talk about other fake products in the market, Nigerians have not really learned how to take advantage of the Competition Act. I remember I was in one program in Ibadan, not quite long, organized by Mobile for auto technicians and whatever. And then after our talk, they were not talking about their own challenges in the marketplace of how most of the parts they buy with the knowledge or with the confidence that it is genuine. Lo and behold, after the usage, consumers will start complaining that it didn't last, the thing breaks. So showing how, do I say fake or substandard it is. This is a major issue confronting a particular sector of the economy. Yes. So, but you see, they are being victims in their own aspect too, because they believe it is genuine. Now, the consumer on the other side will be seeing them as being the culprit here because they feel the mechanics want to shortchange them. Okay, so after that question, well, we can't be everywhere, but we always encourage, come out, complain. It's when you complain we know. And you see, the act encourages association, formation of trade associations, so that these associations, it's not a folk cartel. That's where they are getting it wrong. Most of them will sit down and all they do is fix prices and then, regulate practice as to how individual business or individual conduct their business. No. The whole essence of the association is to ensure quality within that sector. Now, if you are faced with this challenge, why not as an association? Write to us. This is the problem we are having. Most of the parts in the market are actually substandard or they are fake. we go there with the hope that they are genuine, but at the end of the day we discover these things are fake by the time we finish using them, and our final consumers are complaining. Now by the time you write to the organization, you've given us an inkling now that there's something wrong in that sector. Who regulates it? Who determines the standard? So that is where we now come in and then see how we can interface with that sector regulator. You know, there is a complaint from this sector. Can you people please look into it? Of course, they will listen to us because we are the advocate, the highest advocate as far as Nigeria is concerned by the Nigerian government for the consumer.
Can't you go after the manufacturers of this fake product?
We do. And it will interest you to know that the law, the act, gives us that power to penalize. But while we are going after the importers, the distributors, or the manufacturer, we still have to look at it from standard angle. Do you understand? Because the fact is, this person was given a standard to bring in this product or to manufacture this product. Is he following the standard? Because that is what will make the man culpable. You don't just go after him when he is doing the right thing, but then you understand. So at the end of the day, the law gives us that power. We will surcharge you. You will be fine. You will pay. And where you feel you are not okay, to interest you to know, there is equally a tribunal for the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection, a different body from us, independent on its own. So when you feel you are not okay, you can go, no problem. It's part of the act. That is the act the federal government put in place to protect the consumer, to protect the business sector. But like I said, most of industries don't really know how to take advantage of this, to know that they have to collaborate, not really like we are out for punitive. No, you have to let us know how the industry is behaving, how is, you know, your own sector is acting. By the time we get that information, based on the information, we carry out our own investigation. If yes, it's true, then fine.
We're talking about the consumer rights. What right do they have under this law?
A whole lot of rights. Universally, we call it the 8 basic rights, which is the right to safety, right to healthy environment, right to redress, right to complain, right to information, right to choice, so on. But the 2018, that's the Nigeria own act, you know, expatiated this act, because if you don't really know how to how do I put this? If you don't know how to catch the thief will call you the thief, right? So it expanded the act, and it will interest people to know that it will be good. It's very broad when it comes to the 2018 act, because the 2018 act so much made it so that it even tells them not only is the consumer have the right to information, he has the right to know whether the goods we are selling are refurbished goods, second-hand goods or not. You must disclose. That's the right to disclosure. You must disclose all that to the consumer at the point of sale, not after, so that he will decide either to buy or not to buy. That is one. Right to cancel advance booking. You can't tell him he has booked, he has no right. There are conditions for it. They are all there. That's the 2018 Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act. These are part of it. You know, right to, you know, like when you go to supermarket now, then you see prices label on goods. You pick. Then by the time you go to counter, they now tell you that no, the price by my machine is this. The act says he will pay the price that is list quoted. So that's why we encourage consumers, go to our website, look for this act, read it, because when you know it, they know you know it. It will be difficult for them to shortchange you.
Yes, from your relationship with members of the public, how have they been able to avail themselves of this right?
Well, they'll tell you ignorance is no excuse in the law. And then a lot of us, I think we're in a society where we just feel helpless, and then we fail to help ourselves. In the sense that, like I said, most of them don't know this right. And maybe as we are talking now, very few are listening. I've been here on this station on 2 or 3 occasions. Thank you for the privilege of giving me that, because at the end of the day, it's all part of the awareness that we try to create, you know. So most of them don't know this right. And for the very few that do, take ample opportunity of it. We don't say you have to come. If you want to lay your complaint, go to our portal. We have a portal, a complaint portal. lodge your complaint there, or use any of our websites, you lodge your complaint there. If you have your receipt of purchase, which we always advocate that consumers must get, because that is the evidence of transaction that you have, attach it. Just, you know, with these Android phones everywhere, they're very easy. Snap it and then attach, send. It might take a while, because that is where most of them, they think it's like you come in today, it should happen. No, it might take a while, but the fact is you will get justice, and the fact is it will forestall such
from
happening again.
Yes, I've avail our viewers at home your website.
Okay, it's the www.fccpc.gov.ng. That's for the website. And then if you want to send in your mail, is contact@fccpc.gov.ng.
Again.
contact@fccpc.gov.ng.
Yes, your office in Osogbo and your phone number, at least for easy accessibility.
We are presently at Finance Building, the State Secretariat, Abere in Osogbo. But very soon we might move out to where we'll be very much conspicuous, because we feel, because we are in, people don't really know how to work. It's a public office. You can come in, chat with us as a consumer. Tell us what you feel. Let us know how you feel the market is operating, or how you feel the market should operate better, because that is the whole essence why we are there. We are to get information from you, advise the government. It's part of the function. It's what the access we should do. So very soon we'll move out to a place where it will be much open and for everybody to just walk in, and people will see the signboard boldly to say, okay, this agency is here. So, but now we are at the Finance Building, Abere, Osun State Secretariat. And my number is, I'm giving my number because for now, at least get me. When you get me, it's okay. 080-5897-3513.
Again.
080-5897-3513.
On the last note, your advice to members of the public.
Well, I would say we all should be up and doing. We should not be just passive. It is our society. When it comes to fake and substandard product, it affects me. I'm equally a consumer. It affects you. And we are looking for a society where we live a just and a clear one for our generation to come. So let's try our best. Give the information. When you have any complaint to make, don't look at how much is involved, but rather look at how much you will save if at the end of the day, every other person does the right thing. And for those in business, I will advise, try as much as you can. Give the organization the right information that you think or you feel will help your business and help the market. Substandard products so far, I'm sorry to let me add this.
Yes.
We come to discover their influence into the market is this unscrupulous businesses taking advantage, undue advantage of our market retailers. Because when you try to find and discover, it's the same channel that the authentic distributors use in distributing these goods that still bring in the fake one. So they bring it into the unsuspecting retailers. They don't know, because they believe it is the same channel we are getting our goods. So please, we encourage, when you order for goods, ensure you are getting the right thing as stated in your way bill, your bill of passage, and every other thing. By that, we should be able to some extent, because criminality is always advancing too. But then let us follow them too and be able to eradicate it as much as we can.
Well, I want to appreciate Mrs. Janet Odo, the Zonal Coordinator for Southwest of the Federal Competitions and Consumer Protection Commission, for finding time to educate us on the right of consumers and for need for manufacturers to play by the rules of the game. Don't cheat, and to those who feel cheated. So everybody, let's play by the rules to have a safer and better Nigeria. Mrs. Janet Odo, I want to appreciate you for your presence on the program. Once again, on behalf of the producer of the program, Shola Ogunleye, and the executive producer of AM Cafe, Lasun Oyebayo. My name is Adeyemi Abodere. We thank you for being there. Well, I say good morning to you.